It is September 29th, 2025, and I decided to drive up here, park at Pepper Pike City Hall, and just start showing this part of the Pepper Pike trail where you can see in both directions. It's probably going on 7. Since I've never really looked at this, never filmed it. Plus, it's early enough in the morning where there's not a lot of people. So this is Gates Mills Blvd. It's somewhat cool this morning. So what I will do is walk all the way to Landers Circle and then turn back and walk all the way to Shaker Circle near where I am parked. So those who are able to afford to live here, afford the huge housing prices, then you're pretty lucky to have this right in the center. And just like if you live in Highland Heights and at Aberdeen subdivision, then you have that nice trail. Though, you know, you got Beechwood, they have nice trails. Shaker Heights is pretty walkable. But this appears to be pretty popular because every time I drive down here, there's a lot of people. So that's why I decided to get this done early in the morning. Looks like they've laid down some straw and they probably put some wildflower seeds down just this last week, because I saw some landscaping trucks So I am walking east, which might be probably obvious because the sun's rising from the east. Today's supposed to be in the low 80s, another dry stretch. Then I guess it's going to cool off. Wednesday 70s, like low to mid 70s, I guess, and nights in the 40s. Last night was kind of warm in the 60s. So summer's still trying to hang on. We've got rush hour starting, and after this I'm going to be working myself. This is a drainage area, and they put a lot of different wildflowers in there. In the early summer, you hear frogs croaking, chirping, trilling. So they've done a good job with this, putting the wildflowers in there. It used to just be grass, and then it would flood and the water would overflow into the road during heavy rainstorms. So since I'm walking this path, that means I'm going to have to work later today, because I usually start at 7, so but this is the best time to do it, because if I try to do it on the weekends, there's always a lot of people on it, even early in the morning, I think, because I noticed that driving through the area, if it's early in the morning, so I'm not sure what some of those plants are. But there's quite a few, and I think they built this in 2023. Then this area here on my right used to have a house, and I guess one of the agencies purchased, the sewer and water district, I think, purchased that for drainage. So I believe the drainage system goes into that creek down there. It's a whole creek system. And already this tree is lost most of its leaves from the drought. Little bridge. I'm sure all this gets slick in the winter. I'm not sure if they remove snow in the winter. Probably not. It must be, because it can be pretty expensive. So they have a little berm here. It's kind of nice what they did. Because I think they took the soil when they were constructing the sidewalks on Lander, which is going. south off this roundabout, and they took the soil and plopped it in these areas here, and it's kind of nice. It gives a little privacy. I'm not sure what this truck is here for, what they're doing. So, pollinator meadow in progress. So, not sure what they are doing. But this path goes all the way down to Lander. That's Lander where that car's turning. Oh, they're doing something. They're staged for something. Then that, where I'm facing, is Fairmont. That's Lander going north. There's Fairmont going east. They like their roundabouts here, but the roundabouts are pretty good. I did not ever have one and use them in Illinois, but I noticed when going into Illinois off going north on Route 47 in exurbs of Chicago, the sprawl, which is probably approaching 100 miles outside of west of Chicago now, I wouldn't doubt. 50 miles at least. But anyway, they redid 47 and they put some roundabouts in there. So they got this pollinator meadow in progress type of thing. They've got pick up your poop bags, which is nice. I wonder if, oh, they got poison ivy here too, so they got the signs. So rather than put all these chemicals down, they just put the signs up, which I like because nature rules. Just tell people about it, and if they're dumb enough to touch it, then they suffer the consequences. So more of the seeding. Not sure if this will be grass. It might just be grass. But this is, again, they kind of a berm. They put the soil down from different projects. I think the Lander Road sidewalks. Yep, it's a pollinator meadow. So this is the drainage area. They've got ducks in there. So I'll actually go down there. Though it's kind of steep. I have to wait to see where the grade isn't so steep. I don't want to tumble into that water. And then, where's Jennifer? Oh, she drowned or she's all full of mud. So kind of ease down there to show the different types of flowers. So you got that. I don't know what kind of flower that is. They're not asters. I'll have to take a picture and then put it in my plant identifier. So that there, I think, is to catch large debris that's washed away by storms, like big sticks. So you have different types of wildflowers all over the place, which is nice. They must have put a lot of seed down. And this is not stuff that randomly grows. So they had to put these down so I'll have to use the plant identifier to see what those blue flowers are, because I actually have those in my yard. I don't know what they are. I think somebody gave those to me. The lady I walk with, she gave me some plants. And I recall planting flowers from her in that spot in my yard where those blue flowers are. So So people who've lived here for a long time tell me that usually when the lake is this warm this time of the year, and the later the year goes and the lake is warm, that's when you get a lot of snow in the winter. Well, that certainly happened last winter. I think we had warm days. Even I recall during the election, it was really warm, 70s. And the lake was warm. And then they got severe lake effect snow late November. I think it was Buffalo, New York, and even might have hit Erie, Pennsylvania, and Ashtabula. I don't remember, but I know Buffalo got it. And you'd see there were a couple, well, actually they did get a lot of snow out east near the lake, near Grand River and Paynesville and those places, because I recall seeing cars coming from that direction and they're all covered in snow when we would go to Chesterland. Not one flake of snow in Chesterland, but people were driving from the east and the cars were all covered in snow because they were too lazy to brush the snow off. So yeah, November is when the lake woke up, and we even got snow here. And then even early December, we got a lot of snow, several inches. Then it just went on and on and on, I think all the way until March. So that might happen again this winter. Because last winter was the first winter living here where the snow just stayed. And there was so much snow that you would get a little warm spell, but then it would snow again. So here's the first jogger. So a place for people to sit, I guess. And this was my starting point. So this is Kerrsdale. You can see the traffic picking up. But at the end of the day, rush hours in this area are nothing compared to rush hours in Chicago. There's no comparison. Though someday it might change. It might become like Charlotte or Nashville. God, I hope not. I hope I'm dead by then. Though this is one of the few areas in the nation where prices just keep soaring to the moon. Though I hear a large percentage, like 20% or 30%, and probably a quarter of these home purchases are by investors wanting, I'm going to buy this, I'm going to rent it, or I'm going to flip it, type of thing. Because I recall talking to this other YouTuber who actually was a car guy, and when I was first looking at vehicles, because not owning a car for a long time, I think it was like $25 you paid, and then he would talk to you for an hour with tips and stuff. So I remember talking to him, and then when he found out I lived in the Cleveland area, he started asking questions about housing because he wanted to invest. And I know people who have kids and friends who bought into the Ohio City and Tremont areas back in the day, and now they're sitting pretty. But then again, they're also paying more in property taxes than ever. But they can probably raise their rents now. So you can see the sun coming up, brightening up the trees. This is what I like about light, how it hits at different times of the day. Different types of light, cloud cover. It's the poison ivy again. So another wooded area. This is an area where way back when I first moved here, I would stop by just to walk this area. Peace. And you could walk into this woods. It wasn't infested with poison ivy. And then got caught in a storm one time. That was the last time, and I had to run to get to the car. Because then it was soft thunder, and then all of a sudden the lightning turned to bolts just like that. And I learned my lesson, don't go on walks on days where storms can just blow up, like those real hot, humid days and there's storms around. No more. But anyway, you didn't have the poison ivy that you have now. And then as the years went by, don't poop on me. this whole wooded area became infested with poison ivy, and you couldn't walk anywhere. Just look at it. Every square inch is pretty much covered in poison ivy. I think they treated some of it. But it's a nice winding path. I gotta hustle. Probably somebody going to work, going to school, going somewhere. So this is a good 2 miles. Looks like they've got these bags on the trees. Kind of help them. Maybe it's fertilizer. That's what I'm guessing. Maybe it helped them with the dryness. And I think they put these bags up the last week. So the sun is ascending. Yeah, if this was Chicago, there'd be hordes of cars speeding down here. If this was like Arlington Heights or Palatine or Park Ridge. But then that might happen between 8 and 9. I'm guessing it's around 7:30. Can't be that late. Because I started, it was not even 7. And I walk pretty fast. I'd hate to have to drive into the sun to go to work. Like these people have to. There's a lot of companies out east too. If you're talking about Mentor, Chesterland has places to work, but Mentor has some large companies, Paynesville, Solon, trying to think, Chagrin Falls, Bainbridge. Then they're just spread out. Newberry. So a lot of people are probably driving in those directions to go to those companies. Got Willoughby. They have large companies, I think. Mayfield Heights. They probably could be going to that office park, Landerhaven, by the post office. And then you have Mayfield Village. They have a lot of large companies there in the industrial park that I walked off the Grove. Got Progressive Insurance because it looks like they're still there. So lots of places people can be going to that are east. I guess you got your cars. Guess they're picking up. The Monday morning hamster wheel. So thus begins the hamster wheel. How many revolutions you have to do every week? That's the question. Some people have to go faster than others. And you have the trash pickup. They got their little golf carts. That's how they do it. It looks like in Pepper Pike they got little golf carts and they go to your garage. And then I imagine they have a large truck close by and then they dump the trash. It's getting congested. That's why I like to start early. Early bird gets the worm is my saying. You know, the cliche. Because the time that you can spend sitting in traffic is time I can spend doing something else. But unfortunately, I'm sure a lot of people are stuck because if you have kids, then you gotta wait. You're on the school schedule. So I have no clue. So this is going towards, I just wanted I was going to cut through that parking lot to get to City Hall, but I'm gonna go I'm kind of a creature of habit. So this is another roundabout. There's City Hall on the left. I guess people could sit here if they wanted to. Another pollinator garden. And this is another area with a path in the center. There's all the golf carts. Pick up the trash. Well, you can see all the traffic. Everybody and their mother coming down here. Rush hour and Pepper Pike. So and they are building sidewalks, so I'm just going to check it out. And I think it will be easier to cross the further I walk a little bit. See it all cleared out. So I'll just walk to the end of the sidewalk to backtrack because I gotta get to work. But I'll still be starting way before most people over there. But this is the only opportunity I have to do this. Because like I said, the trail gets pretty busy even early in the morning on weekends, just based on what I see. So this is a new sidewalk. I have a video about this. I parked on a Saturday a couple weeks ago. They had already had this done. And I have other videos that show the progress. This tree has lost a lot of leaves. Oh. So they might get most of this road done this weekend. This week into next week. The same, it's going to be no rain for the foreseeable future. So they got that light. It's one lane up ahead. Doesn't look to be that long of a wait. So I've walked I know I've walked 2 miles, maybe 3 miles. Green light. Oh, the sidewalk ends here. Huh. I wonder if they're going to do it later. But they're putting it up. You can see some of it already laid down. This is a weird tree. So that's it. I'm going to end it here. If you like the video, please subscribe. And please hit the like button. So until next time.